Right, welcome guys. Nosferatu first reviews are here, as well as the Rotten Tomatoes score. Nosferatu is the film that I'm most looking forward to in 2025, because unfortunately you guys in the States get it before us here in the UK. You guys get it, I think it's Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. We get it a week later here in the UK on New Year's Day, if I remember rightly. So I'm really looking forward to it. As with most films I'm looking forward to, I'm going to take a look at the first reviews of it because, yeah, I want to build some excitement, I guess, for myself. And also I know you guys are probably excited for this as well. This is from Robert Eggers, and whatever you think of his films, you'll always know that they will be at least very unique. Because, yeah, unique they most certainly are. But this one I think is something different for Robert Eggers, because it's a film. He's never really done an adaptation before, has he? An adaptation. Sorry, get my words out. He's never really done an adaptation before, so this will be something quite new for him. So we'll take a look at the first reviews and his Rotten Tomatoes score for the film. Hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. Lots of people keep coming back to the channel that are not subscribed. If you could just hit that bell icon, turn it on, subscribe, that good stuff really does help the channel out. So anyway, Nosferatu reviews. So the overall roundup is it's a worthy remake, because that is what it is. It's a re-adaptation, I guess, with a potentially controversial change to Count Orlok. So yeah, let's take a look, shall we? So first reviews for Nosferatu have been published this afternoon, and thus far they're all extremely positive. While more in the 4-star range than 5-star, the majority seem to agree that this new take on the classic story is a contender for the year's best horror. However, while filmmaker Robert Eggers' gothic, creepy approach to the material is being praised, there's been some unhappiness with how he's brought the iconic Count Orlok back to the big screen. The vampire has remained largely hidden in publicity materials, and while we won't get into spoilers here, there may be a good reason for that, as it seems he's undergone some big changes. I've seen Count Orlok. Someone sent me a picture of him. It's an interesting look. I don't hate it. It's just an interesting look. So the consensus is a positive one, and there's nothing here to dissuade those excited about the movie. So let's just take a look. Right, okay, so Hollywood Reporter says every age gets its definitive film of Stoker's vampire legend. Eggers has given us a magnificent version for today with roots that stretch back a century. Nosferatu may not click instantly, but aside from the technical brilliance that superbly renders the late 19th century, there's a baked-in longevity in its thinking that will surely keep people coming back. That's good. Variety wasn't massively impressed, but they say Orlok's bold head, Spock ears, sharp rat-like teeth and bony claws are instantly recognisable to practically everyone, whether or not they've seen the silent film. Quite unexpectedly, the villain in Eggers' version bears little resemblance to Shrek's prototypical spook. I mean, it's not really bad, but alright. Yeah, that's not really that bad. I'm surprised. Well, yeah. They comment a little bit more on the look overall. It's not really a spoiler. He's got a mustache, which does look a bit dumb in the image that I saw, but it's not horrendous, to be fair. But anyway, whatever. So the rap said it's a grim, gorgeous fever dream, and while the original is the version that will forever stick in our subconscious, Eggers' film is looming right behind it, bolstering its legacy and adding a few horrifying details of its own. Empire said despite its familiar story beats, Eggers' retelling suffocates like a coffin right up to its chilling final shot. Lily Rose Depp is full-bloodedly committed, and Bill Skarsgård's fiend gorges with terrible fury. Most of the reviews I've said really hammer home Depp, Lily Rose Depp. They like she's apparently amazing, like actually amazing. So Total Film said Nosferatu delivers a relatively straight retelling of this classic gothic tale. Nothing wrong with that. It looks and sounds stunning and is packed with vampiric horror. It doesn't push many boundaries, But if you wanted the classic Dracula narrative feeling exactly like it's directed by Robert Eggers, you're going to love it. It doesn't need to push, boundaries. It needs to be a retelling, right? Like, it doesn't. What else were you expecting? Anyway, IGN were apparently impressed, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad, to be honest. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu might be a modern horror classic, given how scarily and sensually it approaches age-old material, but makes it feel entirely new. Collider said, Nosferatu is an excellent horror outing by a director at the height of his powers, and one of the year's finest films. Digital Spy said, Nosferatu ends up being an excellent blend of folk horror of The Witch and the grander scale of The Northman. That's cool. In finally realising his passion project, Robert Eggers has treated us all to the best horror movie of the year. And Guardian says, this is an elaborate, detailed love letter to the original, intelligently respectful and faithful. I hate the Guardian, they suck. But okay, fine. So let's take a look and see what Variety had to say about how, Count Orlok looked, I guess. Just because some people will be interested in that. And they say, look, in recreating what came before, Eggers is mindful of Minot's distinctive style, but is too gifted simply to mimic. Instead, the meticulously detail-oriented director offers his take on the classic, treating nearly every frame as a work of art unto itself, while further embellishing the story's romantic aspects, which might have succeeded if not for the cast. Nosferatu builds to a tragic finale, but is weighed down by pretentious dialogue, somnolent pacing, and weak performances, especially that of Lily Rose Depp as the doomed damsel. This is the first negative one I've seen of Lily Rose Depp, actually, just as an FYI. And this is me trying to be as objective as possible, so I'm purposely giving you a negative review here. As much as we admire it now, the original Nosferatu was far more of a knockoff than Eggers' homage, doing little, or rather not enough, to disguise the debt it owed to Bram Stoker's Dracula, so much so that Stoker's widow sued for copyright infringement and won. The verdict called for all copies of Minot's masterpiece to be destroyed, but the undead don't die so easily. At least 3 full prints survived, and thus so did the iconic performance of Max Schreck, to the gaunt, nearly 2-metre tall German actor whose looming silhouette as the obviously Dracula-inspired Count Orlok ranks among the genre's most imposing monsters. Orlok's bold head, Spock ears, sharp rat-like teeth and bony claws are instantly recognisable to practically everyone, whether or not they've seen the silent film. Blah, blah, blah. So it says this, quite unexpectedly, the villain in Eggers' version bears little resemblance to Shrek's prototypical spook, an odd way for this Nosferatu to distinguish itself, as it puts forth a shaggier and seemingly toothless interpretation of the character for a new generation. Interesting. Where Willem Dafoe played Shrek in Shadow of the Vampire, and would once again make a great Orlok here, only to be relegated to a Van Helsing-esque supported role, Eggers cast Bill Skarsgård. So frightening as the demonic clown in It, the Helmer then proceeds to bury his star beneath all manner of zombie pirate prosthetics, mostly decomposing skin and unkempt whiskers, until he winds up looking like a homeless Hell's Angel. Alright. Eggers' reimagined Orlok pops up briefly in the prologue, which caused the crowd around me to jump, before collectively chuckling at their reaction, as if to acknowledge that such scares are what they signed up for. But what does an audience really want from a Nosferatu movie? Eggers' script follows the earlier plot in which naive young Clark Thomas Hutter is sent to obtain the reclusive Orlok signature on the deed of a run-down mansion in town. All that's a recipe for ennui, compared with the overtly sinister way Orlok behaves towards his guests, and later, anyone who stands in the way of his reunion with Thomas's wife. And they say, look, if it weren't for the gimmicky quick cut and accompanying bursts of sound, the early reveal of Orlok wouldn't be scary at all. Lean face, long nose, unruly facial hair. It's a look we all know from the pandemic. What? Alright. Well, at least one of our friends decided to let his beard grow out to Viking extremes. So he's got a beard as well. I didn't see the beard, I saw the mustache. Maybe he does have a mustache, or maybe he's just got a mustache. I don't know. Oh, well, anyway, I mean, look, it is interesting. I don't really have much else really to say, to be fair. I'm still looking forward to this, but it's not... Well, that's the first negative one. So, let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Take care. Bye-bye now.